Well, my understanding of the job I have today is the only way I could not bind over if I found Officer Shurg's testimony to be totally incredulous, and I didn't. I think it's an extremely weak ID, but I think probable cause is an extremely weak burden. I am going to bind over. AOI date will be 2 weeks down the road on the 13th at 9 a.m. I will extend the bond as is, and I will ask you fellas to sign the paperwork when I'm done with it. Appearances on Wilson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mohammed on behalf of. And good afternoon, Judge Oakley. Good afternoon, staff. And defendant service Carrie Martin, P84592. My client, Mr. Delana Wilson, stands to my left. Mr. Wilson, your full name, your Judge Oakley.
Good, thank you. We ready, guys?
Yes.
Let's call a witness.
In the preliminary matter, I request a mutual order of sequestration.
Anybody in the room that could be called to testify today? Nope. Doesn't look like it.
If I could have an extremely brief sidebar.
Yeah, go ahead. Who's first?
Officer Robert
Shurig? Is that right, Shurig?
Yes, sir.
Come on up. We good?
We're good.
Raise your right hand. Swear affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Watch your step on the step.
Thank you.
I'm ready.
Officer, can you please state your full name for the record and spell it?
Robert Shurig, SCHRIG.
Thank you.
Officer, are you currently employed?
Yes, I am.
Who's your employer?
East Newport Heights Police Department.
Okay. And
No wonder he didn't look familiar. No wonder he didn't look familiar. He's not one of ours.
no, not.
You're going outside of our venue to get your help now. Go ahead.
Officer, how about on June 7th, 2022?
I was employed with the Huron Township.
Oh, okay.
And did you work that 7th, 2022?
Yes, I did.
You worked that day in full uniform or modified uniform?
Full uniform, fully marked Huron Township Police Department.
Okay, and on that date of June 7th, 2022, did your duties as a police officer take you at or near the location of Sibley Road and Middle Belt Road?
Yes, I did.
Is that located in New Boston, Michigan?
Yes, I think that part's technically Romulus, but it's all within Huron Township.
Okay, and so Huron Township and New Boston?
Yeah, so Huron Township, there's numerous zip codes. You have Romulus, you have Flat Rock, you have Boston. It's all within Huron Township, though. That intersection is within the township.
Okay, and is that in Wayne County?
Yes.
And did you observe something at that location or near that location that drew your attention?
Yes, sir.
What drew your attention?
Yeah, so at first I was sitting stationary facing westbound at the intersection of Pennsylvania Road and Middle Belt Road. I observed a white Ford Focus traveling southbound on Middle Belt Road through Pennsylvania Avenue. As the vehicle passed me, I observed the windows to be partially rolled down, however tinted. At which point the driver looked over at me as he passed through the intersection and looked directly at me in my patrol vehicle, and at which point I can see his picture very quickly.
Okay, and do you see the driver of that vehicle here in the courtroom today?
I was sitting behind him in the white t-shirt.
Noted.
Your Honor, I would also like to note the defense objection to the accuracy of that information. So,
Okay, I'm sure you will.
Okay, and what else do you observe, if anything?
Yeah, so after the vehicle passed my patrol car, the driver looked right at me. And like I said, the windows would be partially rolled down, however tinted. And I pulled behind the vehicle as I traveled southbound on Middle Belt. And it conducted a license plate check of the vehicle.
Hold on just a minute.
Sorry, OIC wants to leave on these.
Oh, there's no shows?
These are all no-shows and they're all on the Carrie Martin's cases as well.
Yeah. Hey, Carrie. Norman and Cano Hernandez. Nobody's here?
Mr. Cano Hernandez, I believe, is on.
Okay,
James.
okay. That help?
Yep, I'll go tell them.
OICs want to know if they can leave. I'm sorry, officer.
Yes, no problem.
Go ahead, Mr. Mohammed.
Officer, do you recall where you left off?
Yeah, I do. So the vehicle passed me southbound on, I was facing westbound on Pennsylvania, Middle Belt. Vehicle passed me southbound After the driver looked at me and made eye contact with me, and then the eyes of the windows would be tinted on the car. They were partially rolled down. I pulled behind the car and began following it up to Sibley Road, at which point I license plate checked the vehicle.
Okay, and based on the license plate check, discover everything.
Yes, according to the state of Michigan, the vehicle was uninsured.
And based on that, what
The vehicle made a right turn to westbound Sibley, at which point I conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle.
okay, how did you conduct the traffic stop?
I activated my emergency lights. Vehicle began to slow down. I passed, I believe it was 2 driveways, eventually coming to a stop. Then I exited my patrol vehicle on the driver's side.
Okay. And how many individuals were in?
So as I began approaching the vehicle, the window was partially rolled down. The driver looked back at me. One occupant in the car, Mr. Wilson. Like I said, again, looked directly back at me, again, making eye contact with me. And however, he ended up fleeing and pulling away from the traffic stop at that point.
Okay, what did you do?
I entered my patrol vehicle. I activated my overhead lights were already activated. I activated my siren, began pursuing the vehicle westbound on Sibley Road.
Okay, and how long did you pursue the vehicle for?
I pursued the vehicle westbound at speeds over 115 miles an hour up to 275. And then we entered onto northbound 275. And as we came back up to Pennsylvania Road on 275, it was terminated.
Okay, and you know approximately how long that was?
I'm estimating, I would say approximately 3 to 4 miles, roughly.
And did you terminate your,
I was terminated by the shift supervisor at the time.
and during your pursuit, was your sirens and lights activated?
Yes.
Okay, go for the question.
Mr. Martin.
Good afternoon, Officer Curley.
Hello.
Are you still an officer with Dearborn Heights or just sergeant?
My police officer was here.
Officer with Dearborn Heights. And you were an officer for Huron Township.
Right.
So. You first see this white Ford Focus. You and the Ford Focus are driving opposite directions on the road.
No, sir. I believe I was stopped facing westbound.
You were stopped facing westbound.
Across the main. Yes, the car passed me southbound, so across directly from him.
Crossed in front of you, taking a turn.
No, he was going straight southbound and I was stopped westbound, so I turned left behind him.
Okay. So. At that point, you're not investigating the car per se at that point, you're just looking at it.
Yes.
Okay. And then you see, so you say that you see the windows partially rolled down.
Correct.
So what does that mean? How much?
I think they indicated my report like 3 to 5 inches, enough to where I can see several inches. So it was like halfway down to get a better way to describe it.
Halfway down.
Yeah, enough to where I can see the driver's face, but I could also see that the windows were tinted.
Okay, so. And you described the tint in your report as heavily tinted, right?
Probably.
Yeah. So is there any part of that window that's blocking any part of the driver's face from view?
I can see the driver's face clearly at that time as you passed me.
That is all parts of his face.
I can see his face.
Okay, what about, at what point is your view blocked? Like, can you see the neck?
I can see his.
So you can't see anything below the face?
Correct. I can
If
see.
it's clarification, I'll allow it. Go ahead.
I can see his head. His face is left as he looked. Like he said, he looked directly as he's driving. He looked directly over to me and continued back southbound.
Okay, and you say you can't see any clothes?
Correct.
Okay. And you can't see, other parts, of the vehicle, right? The interior of the vehicle, right?
I guess partially. It depends on what you're referring to.
So it's like, so you said your testimony on direct was that Mr. Wilson was the sole occupant of the vehicle. How did you know that?
When I conducted the traffic stop on the car, I began approaching the car. I got relatively close to him. I can see that one.
But all the windows were heavily tinted, right?
They are, but as you start getting closer to it, you typically can see through it.
Okay. So then your testimony was also that once you initiate the traffic stop, and you walk up to the car, you see the window being rolled down a few inches.
No, the window was rolled down. It wasn't completely rolled down, it's about halfway down.
So you don't believe there was any, you believe that the window was rolled down to the same height throughout the duration of this time?
I can't see that. If it was the exact same height, I'm not.
Okay, so, but regardless, you think it was about halfway down when you saw it, when it first passed, to your side. And then you're saying that as you walk up to it, it's about halfway down as well?
Right, enough to where I can see the driver's face clearly both times, yeah.
Okay. So, now the driver, he never sticks any part of his body outside of it, right?
Correct.
Okay. And that includes his face, he's not poking his head out or anything like that.
Correct.
And safe to say that the driver was not the same race as you?
Correct.
I'm gonna object to that question. I don't see the relevance
It's
Well-
relevant to the issue of identification.
and it's argumentative. He's trying.
Well, not yet. It could be, but not yet. Go ahead.
We have an answer, not the same race. So. I think now is the time I'd like to show you some of your body on camera, and I will be admitting a portion of it as a defense exhibit.
Okay.
I'll plug in.
Thank you.
Oh. Before I turn my attention there, I do want to ask you a few more questions. So do you recall giving any physical description of the driver in your report?
It's in the CAD notes, which would be the notes that I provided to dispatch. In my report, I don't believe I put it in there until I identified them, but it is, if you reference my the computer automated dispatch notes, what I provided to dispatch, I did.
Why wouldn't you put a physical description of the driver in your report?
Throughout my investigation, I was able to determine who it was.
But you understand that there might have been a dispute about that identification.
That's not a question, that's more of a statement. So if defense counsel has questions
That you're.
Sir,
Hold on.
I'm objecting, I'm requesting that the court inform defense to ask questions and not give statements.
My question is, what is his reasoning for failing to include a written description of the suspect in his report if he stated that he included that description in CAD notes, which I don't believe I have?
Okay, go ahead and answer it if you can.
CAD notes that I reviewed, heard it, I told dispatch that it was a dark black male with, I believe it was razor dreads, I think it said dreads. Once I'm authoring my report, I quickly identified who it was. In fact, so I put the description in there as his name, as this person. This is the person I saw driving. I'm confident in my identification of, looked at me 2 different times. Through my investigation, I was able to determine exactly who it was. So in my original report, at the time of authoring that report, I put, this is who was driving. So the description of that suspect is who I identified as the driver. It was all one report. There's no additional reports. I authored one report, and throughout, this is a matter of an hour or two of me typing this, doing this investigation. The car was recovered. I identified the suspect driver, and I put him in there by name. So in the report, he is identified by name as who the suspect, in fact, was, who the driver was.
Okay, and when you say you determined who it was, but you never arrested Delano Wilson as part of this investigation, right?
No, flood.
Right, so you were never able to actually physically apprehend and then identify who was in that car, correct?
Objection, asked and answered. He said he answered, and answered and said that the defendant had fled.
Response?
No, I'll withdraw the question. I think I have the information I need. So now let's turn to the video. So, Officer Schurig, do you see this still from a video up on the screen?
I do, yes.
You see how the date on the top right, the Axon Life logo is 2022-6/8, which I believe would that correspond to the date of this alleged fleeing?
Yeah, I'd have to review the report, but yeah, I mean, that sounds accurate.
Okay, and do you believe this to be a fair and accurate recreation of your body worn camera footage from that day?
I would object.
I thought it was June seventh, to
Okay.
be honest with you, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not.
And I would agree.
I believe that report was off there on June seventh.
June seventh. Well. Why don't I play some and we'll see if maybe there was just an error in the date. on
Sure.
the Body cam.
That could be, like you said, sometimes the body cam, the date and times, I really don't know how the times work on there, I don't know, but I believe the incident happened on June seventh, if I remember correctly, so the date definitely could be. I have no control over the, axon
Right.
thing.
I'm gonna go ahead and play.
Yeah. Just for the record, there is no audio with this, correct?
I believe the audio will kick on in
Okay.
30 seconds.
Judge, I'm not, Judge. At this point, I think the defense counsel should lay foundation for something.
And I was playing a few seconds of the video first so that I could lay an adequate.
Let's- I think what we need to do is let Officer Sherg, am I saying right, Sherg?
Yes,
See enough of the video to say, yeah, that's the same incident.
yeah,
That's exactly.
Because the dates aren't jiving, we gotta,
give me like 10 more seconds of it, I can.
Okay.
Tell you.
so hold off on that objection.
Why? What? All right, so just trying to make a comment.
Is this the same incident we've been talking about?
So I have no control over the date, times, and the axon video. I don't have anything to do with that, but this is in fact the what is referenced in the police report and the incident we're discussing today. Thank you.
And there's no objection to the introduction of the video, I would just request that it played in its entirety. We'll.
I don't know. How long is it?
The defense will be moving to admit about the first minute of this video. Prosecution cares to play or admit more, that's their problem.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I've paused it again at the 1 minute and 4 second mark. Officer Sherrick, so you confirmed that this is your body cam approaching the white Ford Focus that we've been talking about?
Correct, sir.
Now, I know that the video is a little dark, but you would agree that all of those windows on the car look heavily tinted?
Graciano's waiting on.
And
Okay.
you would agree
that what
that
He's in custody.
at least from this perspective of the body cam, you cannot see through that driver's side window.
I would have that, Judge. The window doesn't appear to be open on my side. So, I don't know,
Well, so what would be the legal objection?
well, he's misstating facts and evidence, he's suggesting that the windows are, to me, fully tinted and that it can't be seen, but on the screen that I have in front of me, the window's still open.
Response?
I don't think that's a legal objection.
I don't either.
Misstating facts, not in, or misleading the court, was,
Honestly, I'm asking a question, I'm not leading question.
You can flesh it out when it's time for redirect.
So my question, Officer Sherrick, was viewing this video right now, you would agree it's hard to see anything through that driver's side window.
The driver's side window's open, the other ones are closed, but I mean, I think we can agree the video quality's not good.
So let me just finish playing the portion of the video that I want now. What's to be?
Go ahead.
Now, I would like to pause right here and ask you a few more questions. Officer Schrader, so do you see that reflection on the driver's side window, the reflection of the sky?
It's currently up right now, yes.
Okay, so the window is fully up as you're stepping out of that car.
Correct, as of now, yes.
Okay, so what we were talking about before in terms of, you said that the window was down and you weren't, and then it was down again as you approached, but you weren't sure if it had ever gone up or down. You would agree that the window, if it was rolled down before, it's been rolled up by this point.
At this current exact second, the window is up, the driver's side front window is up.
Okay. I'll keep playing. And you'd also agree, and at this point, this is the 1 minute 6 second mark. I will move to admit the first 1 minute 6 seconds of this.
And Judge, I've already translated the introduction of this.
That'll come in. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So, sure, you would agree that you weren't positioned in front of the driver's window. You never got the chance to position yourself in front of the driver's window and look clearly at the driver like that, right?
I was looking clearly up the driveway when you rolled the window.
But you were not positioned standing still in front of the driver's
Objection,
window.
ask and answer.
It's a clarification.
No, I was never directly next to the driver's side window.
Okay.
Like, I guess, perpendicular to that window, no.
Right, the car, you would agree, began driving before you had completed walking up there.
Yes, Mr. Wilson fled prior to me getting to the actual window, yes.
So. And then a pursuit ensued and you never were able to view the driver's face during the pursuit.
That part is accurate. Once he fled, I could no longer see him.
Okay, so we're talking about, there's the moment where this driver drives past you. And there's this moment on the video.
Objection, compound question. He's asking multiple different, I just asked for a straightforward question. That's compound. That's the legal objection.
It's not a compound question, I'm just clarifying.
He's
That's
providing-
It's not a compound question if I'm just asking him to basically, I'm gonna list 2 bullet points of 2 moments that we've talked about in testimony. And ask him to confirm that that is the complete list that we're talking.
That's not a compound question.
And
Go ahead.
Just for the record.
That's fine.
the question, officer, is we have the moment where the car drives past you that you described. And then we have this moment depicted on body cam. There's no other moment where you're seeing the driver's face, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And this, so then you claim later that you identify this driver as Delano Wilson, is that right?
Yes.
And that was done through investigation of the plate and the history of users of this vehicle, is that right?
Essentially, yes.
Okay. But once, and then when you did that investigation, you pulled up on your computer a single photo of Mr. Delano Wilson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's when you came to the conclusion that that photo matched the person who you'd seen?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, so you never did any sort of photo array?
No, sir.
You never asked, for example, an OIC or a detective in your department to do a double blind identification procedure for you?
We're not required to do that.
So, and you don't know Mr. Wilson, right? You don't have any prior or subsequent interactions with this man, is that right?
Not that I know of.
Joe,
And then
is Novak up?
just a few more questions.
We'll bring him on as soon as they're done here.
And then how much time passed
Put up.
between this traffic stop and then you doing this research and finding this photo of Mr. Wilson?
This was I can't speak for certain, but this was very, very quick, probably within an hour or two. I offered the report, the vehicle was impounded, and everything was taken care of relatively quickly. Before the end of my shift, for sure.
Before the end of your shift?
Yeah, but I think it was much quicker than that. I actually wasn't planning on completing the shift done with time talking. Probably quick, incident.
Do you remember where you physically were when you pulled up that picture of Mr. Wilson? Was it back at the precinct?
I'm gonna object, I don't see the relevance.
What's relevance?
It's relevant to identification, and I can go into all of the factors that Michigan courts have recognized in terms of what independent basis, what can create an independent basis for an in-court identification.
Oh.
One of them is a length of time between, yeah, allowing it. So, where were you when you pulled up the picture of Mr. Wilson?
The Huron Township Police Department.
At least, okay. Do you recall being with anyone else when we were doing that research?
Objection, relevant.
Too late.
Safe to say you were in an elevated. Never mind, strike that. Nothing really.
Ms. Mohammed, your witness.
Officer, how many times during your interaction with the defendant, both before the stop and after, was the window open?
It was open when he drove past me the first time, and then upon approaching the car, he rolled the window down, so I could see clearly into the vehicle both times.
Okay, and just to confirm for clarity, the individual you identified here in court, that's the same individual that was operating this vehicle that fled from you?
Yes.
Okay, no further question.
Recross?
None.
You can step down. Watch your step.
No further witnesses.
Be safe.
Thanks.
Can he go back to Dearborn Heights? We don't need to keep him around.
Awesome. Thanks, sir. Have a good day.
No further witnesses from the people?
No.
Any witness from the defense? Arguments?
Motion for a binding verdict, testimony request, question was after the trial plan.
Your Honor, I have to object to bindo in this situation. I understand that questions of identification are often questions of fact, but I don't even believe that the people have met their probable cause burden in this case. That still isn't, just because you have someone saying, I think it's that person, doesn't automatically create a question of fact. And of course, Your Honor also has the credibility to determine to make, obligated to assess this officer's credibility in that situation, whether he's outright lying or whether it's just a matter of impossibility to make this sort of identification. So I would like to run you through, Your Honor, the factors that have been outlined by Michigan court, most recently the Michigan Supreme Court in a case called People versus Posey. I will put that citation on the record. Posey is People v. Posey 512 Mich 317 2023 decision of the Michigan Supreme Court, which talks about when an in-court identification of a defendant should be admitted into evidence, and it requires a showing of an independent basis for that identification. And I don't think any of the factors that Posey identifies in terms of what would create that sufficient independent basis apply here. So factor number one, and Posey's factors are borrowed from federal case law from the U.S. Supreme Court, so it's not just Michigan case law we're talking about here. Factor number one, prior relationship with or knowledge of the defendant. This officer says he's never seen Mr. Wilson before, never seen him subsequently. Factor number two, the opportunity to observe the offense. We've heard that it was simply the allegation of seeing him through a window in a moving car and then seeing him through a window as approaching for just a split second before this car peels off. Factor number three, length of time between the offense and the disputed identification. There's two lengths of time I would point out here. One, we have a gap of at least an hour, possibly several more hours between this incident in the field and him looking up this photo back at the precinct. Then we also have the gap of 3+ years between this incident and the only time that we know of Mr. Wilson, of Officer Schurig seeing Mr. Wilson live, which is right here, right now in the courtroom. Then factor number four, accuracies or discrepancies in the pre-lineup or show-up description and the defendant's actual description. We don't have any pre-lineup or show-up. We do have the viewing of a photo. And I'll just take this opportunity to say that is a one photo show-up. That is a type of identification procedure that's highly disfavored in our courts. Decades of research have shown that doing a 6 photo lineup or some sort of lie to lineup is the far superior procedure than simply showing someone one photo. Especially when it's not double blind, you have the person, it's him, he himself is pulling up this photo. He is already thinking, I think this is the person. It's a highly suggestive procedure. Any previous proper identification or failure to identify the defendant, there's no previous identification other than that photo show up. The nature of, this is factor 7, the nature of the alleged offense, the physical and psychological state of the victim or the identifier. In critical situations, perception will become distorted. Any strong emotion, as opposed to mild emotional experiences, will affect not only what and how much we perceive, but also will affect our memory of what occurred. And I'm reading these at length because this is a quote from the Posey case. And this is also a play here where we have an officer working in the field, conducting a traffic stop, quickly followed by a high-speed pursuit. He's presumably at a heightened emotional state. And then finally, factor 8, any idiosyncratic or special features of the defendant. We don't have testimony that, this is someone with a gap tooth, with tattoos on his face, wearing an eye patch, nothing about facial hair. We have a black male with braids. He didn't even bother putting in his report. And we do have testimony that the officer is a different race from the defendant, which this court can take judicial notice that cross-racial identifications are even less reliable. So for all these factors, I don't think this case should be bound over. You might say, if he gets on the stand, he's confident that Mr. Wilson is the person, it's a question of fact. But I disagree, because I think this court does have a duty to assess his credibility in the light of these factors, and does have a duty to assess whether the prosecution has met that threshold of probable cause that not only has a crime been committed, but that it's Delano Wilson who committed that crime. And I don't believe that's been met. I'm objecting to it. Thank you.
Mr. Muhammad.
Judge, we would completely disagree with the defense counsel's position. That's what this case reflects, is that the officer identified the defendant, indicated that the window was open twice during his interaction with the defendant. He identifies him in court here today as the driver of that vehicle. I believe in court identification is sufficient for probable cause purposes, and I would motion that the court find this case over as charged. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, my understanding of the job I have today is the only way I could not bind over if I found Officer Shurg's testimony to be totally incredulous, and I didn't. I think it's an extremely weak ID, but I think probable cause is an extremely weak burden. I am going to bind over. AOI date will be 2 weeks down the road on the 13th at 9 a.m. I will extend bond as is, and I will ask you fellas to sign the paperwork when I'm done with it. Thank you.
Your Honor, can we address bonds?
Sure. 25,000 personal, I believe.
I was just wondering, is the defendant on a Jeep together?
I don't think so.
Your Honor,
I don't see any additional conditions. Do
I
you?
would request that the defendant be placed on a Jeep.
Why?
In light of the charge in front of us today, that was ready for, I believe the defendant.
Your Honor, there's been no change in conditions. There's as you just noted, an extreme identification of Mr. Wilson as the suspect here. He's not a flight risk because he sits right before you. He's maintained constant contact with myself throughout the pendency of this case. Don't believe there's a failure to appear history on this case. I believe it was late. Wholly inappropriate.
I agree. Bond is as is.
Thank you.
All right. And did we already talk about the money you owe? You're going to stop downstairs? All right.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I just need your signatures and then you're on your way. Good luck downtown.
Thank you.
Did we lose Mr. Smith, Trovius?
Yes, that's
Just adjourn that one? Can we get Novak out here?
In this courtroom, the judge carefully listened to every detail before reaching a decision. The court showed patience, fairness, and respect for both sides, while ensuring that accountability remained at the center of justice. The judge's words reflected the importance of responsibility, self-control, and respect for others. Rather than acting on emotion, the court relied on facts, evidence, and the rule of law. This case serves as a reminder that justice is not only about punishment, but also about protecting victims, encouraging accountability, and maintaining public trust. The courtroom once again demonstrated why fairness and law matter in society.
A contractor walked into court believing he could defend his work, but the judge wasn't buying it. The homeowner claimed she paid thousands of dollars for a kitchen remodel that was never completed. As the evidence piled up, the judge became increasingly frustrated. The turning point came when the court found that materials were never delivered and the job was left unfinished. Then came the devastating verdict. The judge looked directly at the contractor and said, "You were wrong. Period. You can't be doing this. You're not licensed. It should have been worse." A harsh courtroom lesson that cost him thousands of dollars. A routine court hearing turned serious when the judge uncovered a shocking attendance record. One child had missed 265 hours of school, while another had missed 129 hours.